Are you thinking about making a move to Chesapeake, Virginia? Maybe you're military, getting PCS orders to Naval Station Norfolk or Oceana, Fort Story, any of the numerous bases we have in the Hampton Roads area. Trying to figure out whether you should live in which one of the 7 cities, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Hampton, Newport News. Lots of choices, lots of decisions. Personally, no matter where I've moved in my life, there's always good and bads to each place I've lived in. And that's exactly what I'm going to be going over today. The pros and cons of living in Chesapeake, Virginia. What's going on? My name is Jason Edwards. I'm a local realtor here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. If you're looking for a channel that goes over what it's like to live, eat, sleep, play, find all the activities anywhere in the Hampton Roads, Virginia area, then don't go any further because this is a channel you need. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos. I upload new videos every single week about what it's like to live here in Hampton Roads. And if you're planning on making a move down here, I'd be happy to help you. So before we get into the pros and cons of living in Chesapeake, I gotta tell you, Chesapeake's kind of broken into 4 distinct areas. You've got Western Branch, Deep Creek, South Norfolk, and then South Chesapeake. As you can see on the map, Western Branch is kind of on the northwestern part of Chesapeake, not far from bordering on Suffolk. Deep Creek is not too far from there. South Norfolk, yes, that's in Chesapeake, is just south of Norfolk. And then South Chesapeake is the huge area in the southern part of Chesapeake, bordering with North Carolina on the south. So we'll start with the pros of Western Branch. One of the big pros, especially relating to me and you, is the real estate prices. Real estate prices in Western Branch are lower than a lot of Chesapeake. If you're trying to buy a home in Hampton Roads and you're dead set on living in Chesapeake and your budget may not be quite as high as some of the other areas in Chesapeake require, Western Branch is definitely a place you might want to start looking. Another pro of Western Branch is there are quite a few shops, restaurants, and other amenities in the area. You've got the Chesapeake Square Mall, and there are a ton of shops and restaurants all up and down, right around Chesapeake Square Mall. Another pro of living in Western Branch is you're very close to North Suffolk. The Harborview area is jam-packed with things to do, shopping, restaurants, golf course. There's lots to do in the Harborview, the North Suffolk area, and it's continually growing. And there is also a lot to do in Western Branch. A con of living in Western Branch is outside that area of the Chesapeake Square Mall, there's really not a whole lot else. There are lots of homes, lots of neighborhoods, but not a lot as far as shopping or restaurants or things like that, things to do. But to negate that, you've got, like I said, Harborview is not too far away, and there's lots to do in the rest of Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, for instance, which leads me to my next con of living in Western Branch, and that's it can be a little bit further of a drive to go to places like Virginia Beach and Norfolk. So if you're looking to be close to the hot spots of Virginia Beach, the hot spots of downtown Norfolk, Waterside area, things like that, then Western Branch may not be the best area for you. The next area we'll talk about is the Deep Creek area. One of the pros of the Deep Creek area, again, home prices. Home prices are a little less than some other areas in Chesapeake and some other areas in Hampton Roads, period. If you're looking for an affordable house to buy, Deep Creek may be one of the areas you'd like to start looking. Another pro of living in Deep Creek is, as opposed to Western Branch, you're a little bit closer to some of the areas with more to do. Places like I mentioned before, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, even Portsmouth, especially with the new casino coming. One of the cons of living in Deep Creek is the crime rate. A great website to research crime rates is neighborhoodscout.com, which I'll link below in the description. But just like any place, there are areas with higher crime, but there are also areas in Deep Creek that are very nice, that the crime rate is lower. Personally, as a real estate agent, I can't tell you which area to choose. I can't recommend areas for you necessarily. I can point you in the right direction to do your own research as far as crime rates, schools, things like that, to help you make your own informed decision. Another con of living in Deep Creek is that in Deep Creek itself, there's really not a whole lot to do. Again, there are areas close by where there is plenty to do, but in Deep Creek itself, you're not going to find a whole lot. The next area of Chesapeake we'll talk about is South Norfolk. As its name might suggest, and my first pro for South Norfolk is its proximity to Norfolk. Depending on where you live in South Norfolk, you're just across the bridge from downtown Norfolk. Another pro are the home prices. Because of some of the cons that I'm going to talk about here in a minute, the home prices are a little bit lower in South Norfolk, probably the lowest that you'll get in Chesapeake. Another pro of living in South Norfolk, if you're like me and enjoy history, is there's a lot of history in South Norfolk. A lot of the houses are early 1900s homes. Some of them have been redone. Beautiful homes, but there's a historic district in South Norfolk. However, just like any area, any city, there are cons. One of the cons of South Norfolk is its crime. Again, there are areas in South Norfolk that have much less crime than others. I urge you to do your own research. Again, neighborhoodscout.com is a very good website, and it's linked below in the description. That is one of the cons of living in South Norfolk. Another one of the cons is the schools are rated less than a lot of the other schools, especially in Chesapeake. I will link a good website for researching schools and their ratings below, niche.com. Do your own research and make an informed decision about where you want to live. Another con of living in South Norfolk is there's really not a whole lot to do. I know that's kind of been a theme throughout. There are some little pockets here and there of things to do, and being in South Norfolk, you're not too far from the Greenbrier area, which is one of the biggest hot spots in Chesapeake, where there is lots to do, lots of shopping, lots of restaurants, plenty to do there. And being in South Norfolk, you're 10 or 15 minutes away, depending on where you are in South Norfolk. And finally, the last section of Chesapeake that we're going to talk about is South Chesapeake. The area of South Chesapeake is huge. It includes Greenbrier, Great Bridge, Hickory, some of the more rural areas of Chesapeake. One of the biggest pros for South Chesapeake is the school districts. They've got the Great Bridge, Grassfield, Hickory, some of the best school districts, not only in Chesapeake, but all of Hampton Roads. Take a look at niche.com, take a look at greatschools.org, figure out which schools appeal to you. Don't necessarily take the ratings as fact. A lot of that can be situational. Read reviews. Check different places for the ratings. Go take a look at the schools. Talk to the teachers. Talk to the administrators. Overall, as I said, some of the best school districts in the area are in South Chesapeake. Another pro of living in South Chesapeake is the crime. There's very little crime in South Chesapeake. Again, do your own research. Another pro is there are a ton of restaurants. You've got Cedar Road, there are restaurants up and down Cedar Road. You've got the Greenbrier area where they're just packed in there. There is plenty to choose from in the South Chesapeake area, although you could, depending on where in South Chesapeake you lived, you could be driving for a little while to get there, even less than if you lived in some different areas of Chesapeake, honestly, because South Chesapeake is so large. Which kind of leads me to the first con, the location. Depending where in South Chesapeake you live, you can have a pretty good drive to places like Virginia Beach, Norfolk. If you're stationed at Naval Station Norfolk, it could be a pretty good drive. In the summertime, 168, which is kind of a main thoroughfare in South Chesapeake, can get pretty jam-packed due to tourists heading down to and back from the Outer Banks. Another con is home prices. A lot of the homes in South Chesapeake, because of the school districts, because of the low crime, because there are larger lots in a lot of areas due to it being more rural, the home prices are considerably higher than other areas in Chesapeake. If you got any value from this video, if you learned anything, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell. I upload new videos every week about what it's like to live here in Hampton Roads. If you're a first-time home buyer, or you're just moving to Hampton Roads, Virginia, and you'd be interested in a buyer's guide, drop a comment below. I've got a free buyer's guide that I can give you that's chock full of information. And if you need help buying or selling a home in the Hampton Roads, Virginia, or Northeast North Carolina area, my contact information is below. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd be happy to help.